Hello everyone, this is Tutu Mora with the Y, bringing you tools to feel well in your body, mind, and spirit. So today we're going to work on loosening up the hips a little bit. And before we start with movement, I want to bring your attention to the way your hips are sitting on your body. So I'm going to lower the camera down so you can see the lower half of my body. And so what I want you to think about here is the space between the bottom of your rib cage and the tops of your hip bones. So for many, especially if the hips become tight, it can be easy to kind of scrunch up on one side, making this space a little bit shorter. And that can impact a whole bunch of things, leading especially to some tightness in the low back. So before we start, see if you can find that space between the bottom of the rib cage and the tops of the hip bones, and just even that out a little bit. So if you notice that you're crunching on one side, see if you can shift a little bit to even out that distance between the bottom of the rib cage and the tops of the hip bones. And you might find that they are equal, but you also might find that there is a little bit of an imbalance there. So before we move, really important to feel into that length and creating that equally long torso from side to side. So once you've found that, once you've made whatever adjustment, you might notice as you even out that length in the torso that you feel a little bit of a new tightness or a new sensation in the hips or the low back. So take that with you to the mat. And of course, let that awareness tell you where your range is on some of these movements and if the movement feels right for you today. So let's head over to the mat. You won't need any props today. All right. So go ahead and lay down. And while you're laying down, I want you once again to feel into that length in the torso. So find the bottom of your rib cage, find the tops of your hip bones, and once again, allow that distance from side to side to become a little bit more balanced. And so from there, we're gonna try to keep that equally long torso throughout these movements. So just let that be a little layer of awareness as you begin to move. So thinking about that long torso from side to side, let's just start to take a couple pelvic curls. So what that means is just to, almost like you're curling that tailbone as if it could slide up and meet the backs of your knees. So you can also think of it like if you have back pants pockets on your pants, that you're sliding your weight to the tops of the back pants pockets and then bringing your weight back down to the middle of your pants pockets. So let's pass the middle and bring that weight to the bottom of the back pants pocket. So gently imprinting that tailbone into the mat. And this is called your pelvic extension. So let's just rock back and forth from your pelvic curl here at the top of your back pants pocket. And then your pelvic extension. So just moving back and forth between those two spaces, really allowing yourself to remain heavy the whole way. So legs as heavy as possible in the backs of the hip sockets, really feeling that weight from side to side as you roll back and forth. And of course, noticing that length on either side of the torso, letting both sides be as equal as possible. So let's return back to the middle of our back pants pocket, so a neutral pelvis. And we're gonna just gently imprint that left back pants pocket, the whole thing from top to bottom into the mat. So super subtle movement, just a gentle imprint down in there. And then we'll bring ourselves back to a neutral pelvis before gently imprinting that right back pants pocket into the mat. And so let's just go back and forth, and you might notice that if you're looking at the screen, it looks like it's barely a movement because it is that subtle. As you're moving back and forth, again, remembering to keep that length in the torso here from side to side. Let's take one more set here, really feeling into that whole back pants pocket imprinting itself. Perhaps taking a deep breath when that sinking feeling has reached its max. Before taking that last time to the other side, find that imprint and that deep breath. Bringing yourself back. So now we've created these kind of four corners of the pelvis here. We've got our curl here at the top. We've got the bottom, which is our extension, and then we've got a back pants pocket on either side. So we're going to take that around the circle of the pelvis. So we're going to start with a pelvic curl, coming into that top portion. Again, allowing yourself to be as long as possible. And then we're going to sink into the left back pants pocket before taking that extension, and then the right back pants pocket back into the curl. So almost like we're just sort of stirring this circular movement of the pelvis, taking that all the way around, dipping equally into all four of those quadrants that we've established. Maybe noticing which quadrant is the tightest. And it's probably going to be the side that your hip is feeling a little bit tight. So if you do notice that, just pausing, taking a little bit of extra time there, and taking a deep breath into that space. And then let's reverse direction. So from your curl, now dipping into your right back pants pocket first before taking it into your extension, your left back pants pocket, and then back into your curl. And then at your own pace, let's take this direction just a couple times. Before arriving back at center here. So now we're going to bring, I'll shuffle a little bit further up so you can see, we're going to bring our feet together and we're going to externally rotate from the hip socket, again keeping that equal length. Let's just bring those legs out. Soles of the feet will begin to touch. And once you reach the end range of that wide leg, that externally rotating through each of the hip sockets, take a couple deep breaths there. Widening through the sit bones to bring those legs back together, and then we'll take that one more time. So again, starting this movement from the hip socket, finding that external rotation. Soles of the feet begin to touch. When you reach your range, let's hold this for a couple deep breaths. Widening through the sit bones to bring those legs back in. And then let's straighten one leg out. So I'm straightening the left leg out. A right leg is coming in towards me. I'm gently just gonna hug that leg towards me. Before then, taking that knee across as if it's reaching for the opposite shoulder here. So find that little differently oriented hug. And then we're gonna bring that arm on the same side, so right arm comes up, and we're gonna bring it out into a T, rotating the head to look at the arm as we bring that leg even further across the body. Taking a deep breath, and then taking everything back, letting that leg rest back down. You can straighten it out, and let's take the same thing to the other side. So once again, making sure you've got that equal length through the torso. It can be very easy to want to crunch up on this side as you bring the knee in towards you, but see if you can keep that equal length. And so find that gentle hug. Perhaps reaching through the heel of the straight leg. And then let's hug that knee in towards the opposite shoulder here. And then let's take that left arm, bringing it out into a T, gently rotating the head as well as we carry that stretch a little bit further. Deep breath. And then everything back to center. So let's bring those legs back to our original bed position. Take a little curl of the pelvis to feel into how that's changing a little bit in the space that you have available to you. And then we're going to take a figure 4 stretch. So bringing the right ankle on top of the left knee, and then we're going to hug the lower body in towards our center. And so this can be a pretty deep stretch depending on, how you're feeling. And so find the range that works for you as you bring your lower body in. Perhaps it feels good to rock this from side to side. Taking your time, breathing all the way down the length of your torso and really allowing that torso to remain nice and long on both sides. And then let's switch. So now your left ankle will come over on top of the right knee, bringing all of that in towards you. Find that gentle hug, maintaining your length on each side of the torso. And then if it feels available and good to you, gently rocking that from side to side. Then you can bring both feet down back to our original bent leg position. Taking another little pelvic curl here, it should feel a good amount looser. Let's take just a couple more. Last one. All right, so carefully coming up and off. And while you're here, perhaps just taking a couple steps around the room, feeling into how those hips now feel as you walk around, as you move. And so I hope you found this video supportive. Feel free to like it below if you did, and I'll see you back here next time on the Wise YouTube channel. Take care.